Okay, so normal shoes are bad for you, so you need the most minimal possible shoe that you can to be healthy, right? Wrong. Not true. That's what this video is about. So there's a reason that shoes were invented, right? Because we live in a world where you can walk on things that are sharp or that can hurt your feet. It's useful to have something below the bottom of your foot to protect your foot from getting hurt, especially in the modern world where we're walking on flat concrete surfaces all the time, right? It's not all cushy grass, dirt that is like really comfortable to walk on. It's stuff that will hurt your bone when you're smacking on it, right? That's not natural. So it turns out it's kind of useful to have a shoe that has a little bit of cushioning under your foot, right? This is something that gets overlooked by some barefoot shoe people and companies, in my opinion, myself included, in a video in the past where I talked about the Shama Warrior LE. So just like think about it like this. I probably need my computer over here. Think about it like this, right? Oh, the most minimal shoe possible is the best shoe that you could wear. How about this piece of paper? How about you tape this to your foot? Would that be a good piece of footwear? No, it wouldn't, because there's no structure, right? When you walk on it, your foot doesn't even stick to it. Like, it's gonna be frustrating and your foot's gonna act weird because it's trying to hang on to the piece of paper. Also, it's not actually gonna defend your foot from anything. It's gonna be pointless wearing the shoe. You might as well be barefoot, right? So if you're wearing shoes instead of being barefoot, it has to have a function. So my new questions are, what is the function of good footwear? And I made a checklist. It's on my phone, which is recording right now, so I have to use my computer. Let me get a whiteboard. So, the necessary functions of footwear. 1. Provide minimal necessary cushioning. This is what defends your heels and feet from the harsh, flat, concrete, whatever world, right? Walking around in the mall, walking around in the parking lot, on the sidewalk. Most places you go in the Western modern world is gonna be hard and flat, right? So you need some cushioning to help your foot out. Not much, but you need a little bit, right? So for me, and I've been walking barefoot for years, right? Like barefoot shoes, at least. This is not quite enough cushioning. See how thin and floppy this is, right? I'm not sure how thin this is. It's only a couple millimeters, right? But it turns out there's just not quite enough here. It's still pretty harsh walking on the flat ground for a long time. You can do it for a little while, but after all day walking around like that, your feet might actually hurt a little bit. Versus the Shama Super Brown. I should look up how thick these actually are. Yeah, so these are like 7 millimeter stack height, right? Is about perfect for me. I love the Shama Super Brown. There's just enough like cushioning here. And that actually brings me to the second point. Number 2, minimally invasive structure. Hopefully you can actually see this. So once again, this has to do with not being like a piece of paper, right? Like, it's nice if a shoe can actually provide some level of support to your foot, right? Hold itself together, at least. That would be kind of nice, right? Unlike a piece of paper, a good piece of footwear provides some solid structure that's gonna have integrity and hold itself in its place. For me, this sandal is just too floppy, and I find that my foot has to end up working to try to like keep itself secured onto the sandal itself, because the sandal will just like wipe away or whatever. I also think a shoe should provide the appropriate aesthetic appearance according to its likely and intended uses. So you want to actually want to wear it, right? If it's a running shoe that you're just trekking in, maybe you don't care that much what it looks like, right? Like this kind of a thing, maybe you don't care that much. But if it's a shoe you want to wear out and like make a cool outfit in, you might want something that looks a little bit cooler and nicer, right? So when it comes to these are kind of my example in this video. This sandal is like pretty reddish, and then it's got the black stuff. It just sticks out a little bit more. But like, I love the darker brown, worn leather kind of look. It's more minimal, it goes with more stuff. I like it. I feel better wearing these, right? So I think that's a necessary function of a good shoe. And then lastly, I think a function of footwear is providing a high quality build, right? It's got to stay together, you know? These Zero shoes, don't want to brag too much on Zero, but like they're glued from the outsole to the upper, right? Instead of being stitched like this shoe. That's one example of a high quality build, or like how quickly is it going to fall apart or stay together? How much can you repair it, right? I think that's an important element of a shoe too, because even if it's great and fills all the boxes, if it falls apart in a couple months, it's not a good shoe. So that's kind of my take for the day, huh? Shoes that are good need to be functional. And that's something I didn't understand as well in the past. I only wanted them to be minimal, right? I wanted them to have a wide toe box. I wanted them to be zero drop. I wanted them to be flexible and give you a ground feel. But it turns out you also have to have a shoe that fulfills its necessary function as footwear according to its uses, right? So that's why this is my perfect example of what I'm talking about. These, in theory, I bought these thinking that they were going to be the perfect shoe, sandal, whatever, because they're super, super minimal, super flexible, more flexible than any other one I had, more minimal than anyone I had. But it turns out I wear these shoes way more often. They're a little bit thicker, a little less flexible, right? But it turns out my feet just aren't held in place well enough with these shoes, right? My foot are grabbing it. Feet, it's slipping and sliding around. My feet are smacking onto the hard ground. Ow. And I just never wear them. I don't like how they look that much. So it turns out I wear these like every day I possibly can. I don't wear any other pair of shoes if I can wear these. Like if it's not wet or super cold outside, these are the shoes I'm wearing. They're flexible enough. They have great structure. They hold my foot in place. I can just forget that they're on, and they're super comfortable. I like how they look. It's just the most chill, minimal shoe that also fulfills all of its functions perfectly for me. This is the Shama Super Brown, by the way. My favorite footwear, period. So I guess that's it for today. Wanted to bring this up. This is a shoe that I recommended. I called it the only barefoot sandal you ever need, because that's what I thought it would be. But it turns out I don't really actually feel that way. I don't even wear these really. I don't have a reason to wear them because these just do everything better. I think you don't overthink the barefoot stuff, right? All the barefoot attributes, you know. They're important. Don't get me wrong, like you gotta have them, but don't think that more is always gonna be better, right? More minimal, less thick. Just go barefoot if you want it to be the most minimal possible thing, is the whole point of this video. And if you're not going barefoot, why are you not going barefoot? Because you need something on your foot. Guess that's the video today. Minimal isn't always better. And from here forward, I'm judging shoes on a new scale, right? One is, does it fulfill the necessary functions of footwear according to the shoe's likely and intended uses? And the other one is, how well does the shoe promote barefoot benefits, right? That's half the scale. Functions of the footwear is half the other scale. And then lastly, the last part of the scale is how much do I like the shoe and how much do I wear the shoe? Not that you care that much about that, but I think I'm over-explaining. That's the point of the video. Have a good day. Watch my other videos if you'd like. Goodbye.